everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the Political Vigilante. Graphics making my Gotham great again. Well, I talk on this show a lot about the environment, and we are clearly in a climate collapse. And I'm always looking for direct actions. That's what I'm looking for, especially with the climate change. Because if we don't fix the climate, it's over. Like I've said this before on this show. It's great. Oh, we fix election reform. We fix this. We fix that. Oh, equality and defund the police. Oh, that's great. That's all great. But if we fixed all of those things, but don't fix the environmental collapse, it's over. We're done. So oh, yay, we're voting for Joe Biden. I mean, Trump had a bunch of climate change deniers in his cabinet. The Republican Party pretty much denies climate. And then Joe Biden, the big resistance, during the debates, I'm not going to do a Green New Deal. I'm not going to ban fracking. So there's without real serious climate action, we're not left. We don't have much choice to do anything. Well, guess what? Some people are getting wise, and they're like, we need to legally go after countries and businesses that don't protect the environment and start using terms like ecocide and genocide, because that's what's happening. If we don't have any more breathable air, drinkable water, we're dead. We're done. These scientists are talking about these feedback loops. So this article is in Common Dreams, and I'm really, it gives me some hope here. To end impunity for deliberate destruction of planet, international lawyers drafting plan to criminalize ecocide. This is what we got to do. It's stuff like this. We got to get creative. Like, oh, we'll get the petition. And once the Democrats take over the Senate, the Democratic Party doesn't give a shit about climate change. They don't give a shit about it. They talk about it, but they don't give a goddamn thing about it. That's why they stifle people like Bernie Sanders, who had a real Green New Deal. That's why AOC she gets in Congress and she's making waves, and then they start quieting her down. And now she's being a good little girl, calling Pelosi Mama Bear. She'll call out some things with the Democratic Party. But look, they're putting Neerathand in it. Look at Joe Biden's cabinet. It tells you all you need to know. They're not going to reverse climate. Oh, we're going to get back in the Paris Accord and put back some of these real lame protections that Obama put in, that Trump took out. They'll put these weak protections back and go, we did it. Yeah. It's not going to fix climate change. The efforts to hold governments and corporations accountable for the mass, systematic, and widespread destruction of the world's ecosystems. Yeah, this is what you got to do. Because if you think, oh, we'll reform the Democratic Party from within, already progressives like myself and others are on social media and on this show calling out Joe Biden's cabinet picks. And people are like, settle down, Graham. Don't cause problems. Wait till he gets sworn in. Golly gee. Okay, I'll wait till he gets sworn in. And then I'll say the same things. They'll go, oh, wait till the midterms. Meanwhile, the planet keeps collapsing. California, the whole West Coast in the month of September just had the craziest fires they've ever had. And every year they break a new fire record. Last year, Australia, the whole country was on fire. So it's this kind of action. I fully support this stuff. The time is right to harness the power of international criminal law to protect our global environment. Philippe Sands, University College of London. Because stop like the petition, and the politicians don't give a shit. They're bought and paid for. So let's treat them like criminals. Put these motherfuckers in The Hague. I'm all down with that. I mean, we can't prosecute war criminals. I mean, if The Hague was for real, like Obama would be there, Bush would be there, Trump would be there, Dick Cheney, Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, Joe Biden, like they'd all be in the goddamn Hague. Okay, so let's start locking some people up, man. I want to see some CEO. I'm telling you, all it takes, you get one CEO locked up in jail, one oil executive, because it's going to take stuff like this. It's going to take stuff like general strikes. It's going to take stuff like people just shutting stuff down. Because the Democratic Party is part of they are the main problem. The Republicans are evil and awful, But there's literally not enough hardline right-wing nut job conservatives to really, there's not enough of them in America. The Democratic Party sheepherds progressives, thanks to people like Bernie Sanders and even AOC in the squad. They do that. So it's time to, like, we don't have time to mess around. The UN study came out in 2018. It said we have until 2030. If we don't get off of fossil fuels by 2030, it's too late. So man, I'd love to see put Neera Tanden behind bars, put Mitch McConnell behind bars. I'd love to see that. Assembled by the Stop Ecocide Foundation at the request of several Swedish parliamentarians, the initiative to criminalize. I highlighted this in both ones. It is criminal what people are doing what the corporations and the polluters are doing and the politicians that take money from these fossil fuel companies. It is criminal. It's criminal. The fossil fuel companies that pay for climate change denial, they need to go to prison. They need to go to jail. They are doing the same thing. It's worse, actually, than Holocaust denial. Because denying the Holocaust, while morally reprehensible and disgusting and I don't even know what words to put on it, it's not hurting the environment. As awful as as Holocaust denial is, climate denial is actually is helping to speed up the extinction of the human race. So it needs to be criminalized. The initiative to criminalize the destruction of ecosystems at the global level has already garnered support from European countries as well as small island nations highly vulnerable to rising sea levels. Yeah. There's a bunch of islands that are like, it's affecting them. The sea levels are rising. It's affecting their crops. It's because salt water gets into the fresh water that comes up. It's contaminating everything. It's not to mention like the 5 islands of floating garbage. That's suffocating marine life. If the oceans die, we're dead. The human race is over. The November 20 launch date of the project coincided with the 75th anniversary of the beginning of the Nuremberg trials of Nazi leaders, where the terms crimes against humanity and genocide were coined. That's what's happening. Ecocide is genocide. So I'm all for it. It's going to take a bunch of things. It's going to take putting these people in jail, work stoppages, general strikes, on top of putting the money. I've done a bunch of stories on all of these solutions that have already been created that just need money on a mass scale, right? I've talked about the algae that pulls CO2 out of the air. I've talked about there's a soil culture that they found that pulls methane gas out of the air. There's that olivaria, this mineral that you put on the beaches that pulls CO2 out of the air. It's a process that's naturally occurring on beaches. They pull the CO2 out of the air and then bury it under the ocean. But the natural processes takes about 1,000 years. You take this olivaria, which is a very readily accessible mineral, right, on this planet. You put it on the beaches, makes the sand turn kind of green. It happens in 2 years. We just need real money behind that. What if somebody said, what if some asshole like Jeff Bezos, who could literally end homelessness, just said he's worth $200 billion right now? What if he just said, all right, I'm going to spend $100 billion to get this and just do all the beaches in whatever, North America or the US beaches, right? So that's the whole West Coast, right? All of the Gulf states, Florida, the East Coast, and Alaska and Hawaii. Just if America did that on its beat, if we could start to actually reverse climate change? Because if we don't do anything about it, it's over. We're done. Professor Jalloh is a member of the UN International Law Commission and editor-in-chief of the Journal of African Legal Studies and African Journal on International Criminal Justice. Honored to have him as our expert ecocide law drafting panel. They're drafting the laws. States should use all tools at their disposal, including their criminal law power at the national and international levels, to protect our shared global environment and bring the most responsible perpetrators to justice. He's a professor at Florida International University. Well, let me tell you something, Florida. It's good. He probably gets it because Florida is going to be underwater in 20 years. So this is why I talk about how ways to get involved. So look what they're doing on an internet. But he brings up a great point in that quote. That's why I say, like, get involved in what if your city council, right? Let's say you've got a company polluting in your city and the district attorney files charges, and you pressure the district attorney in your town to file charges against this company that's polluting where you live. You live in Oklahoma, or Texas, where you've had fracking has caused just 1,000% increase in earthquakes. I'm not making that number up. 1,000% increase in earthquakes. Put those people in jail. Pressure your district attorney, pressure your city council. No. We don't want to. Okay, LA a couple years ago say we're starting our own Green New Deal. And at first I heard them go, oh, that's cool. And you read it. It's more neoliberal fucking window dressing, centrist bullshit. Okay, let's pull some sons of bitches in jail. Like, hey, district attorney, you better put these people in jail for this. And it'll start happening. You get some district attorney somewhere bold enough to go, okay, yeah, we're putting these people. There's got to be a district attorney out there who's got the stones to do this. Because that's what needs to happen. You know, when the whole George Floyd thing went down, I put on social media, I said, anybody ever seen a cop put their knee on the neck of a billionaire? I haven't. This is how we have to do it. This is a direct action. And this is something so that you can support what they're doing and this organization and this gentleman, but you can do this as they're talking about on your level, on your local level. Are you an attorney? Criminal charges, not a civil lawsuit, because, you know, the big corporations, they blah, 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 and they bury you in this. A criminal lawsuit, criminal charges. Get the you need the civil suits. Okay. You find, but the big corporations get around that. They get around that. They pay the penalty, the fine. Oh, maybe they're ordered to clean it up. Like BP oil. Remember the Gulf when that just burst and they're just pumping hundreds of gallons of oil into the water every minute? Oh, they paid the fine, and they had to put ads out saying, oh, we're going to clean up and make the Gulf better. No, bitch, we're putting you in jail. No, orange jumpsuit. You're the CEO. Oh, not anymore. You're going to talk to your kids through plexiglass. Does that sound fun? On a phone through plexiglass. Yeah. You're going to be in prison. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Aryan Brotherhood's going to buy you. I don't know what. Maybe you're going to have to work that out once you're behind bars. Threaten them with. You have to threaten them. They're not. You can't appeal to their. They have no conscience. They have no soul. They don't give a damn. All they care about is a profit. And they don't care if it ruins the planet. And the oil companies are aware of this. That's the other thing, too. The oil companies did their own internal studies back in the 70s. Exxon did that, a study in 1977. They hired their own scientist who did a study that said, oh, man, he came back to Exxon, to all the executives there, and said, yeah, burning fossil fuel is causing what they then called back then global warming. And Exxon went, oh, man. They did they funded another internal study in the early 80s, came back, said it's even worse than we thought. And then they went, okay, stop. And then by mid to late 80s, they started funding climate denial. That's a crime. That's a crime. What if somebody knew, oh, COVID-19's here, it's bad, it's going to kill people, like a year ago, and then they hid it, said, oh, we didn't know anything about it. What if an American company did that? There'd be an outrage, right? There'd be an outrage. So this is important. An ICC policy paper in 2016 said it was not formally extending its jurisdiction, but would assess existing offenses such as crimes against humanity in a broader context. This is a quote in the Guardian. Criminalizing something at the ICC means that nations that have ratified it have to incorporate it into their national legislation. Okay. She added, that means there would be lots of options for prosecuting offending corporations around the world. That means there would be lots of options for prosecuting offending corporations around the world. This we need to get behind. We need to put these people behind bars. They don't care about your children or grandchildren's future. I got 6 nieces and nephews. These people need to go to jail for potentially taking away my nieces and nephews' future. Yes, absolutely. Preparatory work is now underway, and the panel plans to deliver a draft of a legally enforceable definition of ecocide in early 2021. Yes. High time. Should have happened a while ago, but I'm glad it's happening now. Because let me tell you something. One of the things all the environmentalists talk about, all the scientists, you know what's going to get worse and worse if we don't do something to reverse climate collapse? More pandemics. So you don't like this shutdown now? You don't like this? Oh, we're back to California and other states. You're back to shutting down, which is awful. Imagine another virus worse than this one. We already have climate refugees throughout the country, throughout the world. We've had them in this country from Katrina. I mean, a bunch of people left the West this fall because of the fires. At a certain point, you can run all you want, but if the whole planet's collapsing, it won't matter. Deliver a draft of legally enforceable definition of ecocide in early 2021. I look forward to that. I will be talking more about this. And this is another thing to get involved on a local level. Pressure your local district attorney, your local attorney general of your state, to start enforcing this when it comes out and start to prosecute these offending corporations. Lean on them hard. This is why giving your vote, no matter what, is the dumbest thing you can do. This is why you say, if you guys don't do this, I ain't voting for you. You better pledge to do this. The Biden administration doesn't give a shit about the environment. They're going to give us some lip service, pass a little law here, a little law there, but it won't be anything real. You got to put some real people behind bars. Thanks for watching the show. CNN and them aren't going to talk about this because they get money. You know, because CNN's going to cut to an ad. They're going to talk about, climate change. And then they're going to cut to an ad from Exxon or Shell or one of those companies or a car company or whatever. But even the car companies, General Motors just said it's going all electric. So we need to find these offending companies and their CEOs and put them in jail and tell them this is the best option, because the other option is just sort of kind of like French Revolution style. So you choose. God forbid you grow a soul for 5 minutes and go, man, maybe we should stop polluting the earth for money, and we're going to spend all of our money and resources on fixing the earth. I doubt they're going to do that. So let's lock them up. Put them behind bars. You deserve to go to jail, climate polluters. You deserve to spend the rest of your rat fuck soulless life behind bars in an orange jumpsuit. Okay? Thank you. Thanks for watching the show, everybody. Shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, where you can support the show. Also, I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet in the show notes. We're taking cryptocurrency. I have a Coinbase affiliation link. We're going to be getting on some other exchanges. So that's how you support the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube is unsubscribing us at an alarming rate. I have a PayPal button at grahamelwood.com. I even have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. There's a lot of ways to support our show. We are getting crushed by YouTube. We've dipped under 73,000 subscribers because of YouTube. Thanks for supporting what we do.